Hello everybody, this is Vicki, aka the Virginia Stitcher, coming to you with my Flosstube video. I know it's been a while. It's been probably close to about 4 months since my last video. I think it was the third week of October, maybe around October 22nd or so. And now it is February 24th of 2025. And I've been away for a little while. I'm not going to try to make a bunch of excuses. It's just I needed a break. And I was having a lot of problems with my back, my lower back, and it had been going on all year and it wasn't getting any better. So I started physical therapy on my back in October. And then the holidays came and all of that stuff. So I just was so busy trying to get my back better, because just sitting in a chair, I have a back cushion, I have a seat cushion, I have a foot thing because I'm short, so my legs don't touch the ground all the way, no matter how I adjust my seats. But it was hurting for me even to just sit upright like this in a chair, even with the back support and the cushions and things. So, because the only way I could sit was reclined with a pillow behind me and on a heating pad. And I could sit in a chair like this for maybe 5 minutes and my back would start killing me. So I haven't been able to do any sewing or anything like that. Any house cleaning. I feel really bad for my husband because he's been doing all of the cleaning. And on top of working, he still works a full-time job. So I just feel bad that I haven't been able to pull my weight, but just standing and cooking dinner would send me into so much pain that I almost couldn't go up or down the stairs. But it's better. So I am sitting. I think I can sit here for up to maybe a couple of hours before I start really having a lot of pain with my back. But it's better. Physical therapy. I've been doing medical massage. I've been doing exercises on my own. I always do yoga stretches and things like that. So we're getting there. But in the meantime, I was able to stitch because I could sit reclined and sit and stitch. I just couldn't sit up and do anything. Even gathering the materials. Like I have probably, I think I counted 21 WIPS I'm going to show you guys, and 3 small finishes that I've done. I wasn't keeping track really in October and November, or the rest November and December too much with what I was stitching on, because I just didn't even feel in the mood to even keep track of what I was stitching on. I just have whatever was by my chair and I just sit and stitch on it when I felt like it. So what I'm going to show you is pretty much what I've been working on this year so far in 2025, in January and February. So let's get to it, because I have a lot to show you guys, a lot. The first thing that I'm going to show you are the 3 small finishes that I did. One of the things, last year I was doing 62 new starts for my 62nd birthday, because last year I turned 62 and I was born in 1962. So I thought, how perfect, I have to do something with the number 62. So I decided I was going to start 62 new starts. Because I started so many starts last year, I didn't really get anything finished. And I decided this year, I had a lot of big projects, a lot of anywhere from medium to BAPs, but I hardly have any small things. And I thought, I have a bunch of smalls to work on, because as I was decorating for Christmas and pretty soon I'll be getting ready to decorate for spring and things like that, and for Thanksgiving and fall, I noticed I didn't have hardly anything small to set out, and make pretty little arrangements that were cross stitch. So I thought, this year I think I'm going to try to shoot for doing 1 small a month, start and finish a small. If I don't finish it, that's okay. But so far I've been able to keep up with that. And the first one I'm going to show you is one that I started and finished in December. And this is just one of the Lizzie Kate's snippets. And this one is called Socks and Underwear. So it says, when you stop believing, you get socks and underwear. And I just, there's the glare. I'm sitting in front of my window in my craft room. So I'm trying to see if this gives me good light. So I stitched this on a mystery piece of overdyed 16 count Ada. It was just a little scrap piece in my storage there. So this is my little piece. And I even used the whisper thread that's supposed to be used in his beard. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell. Can you see the little fuzzies sticking up from it? So I went ahead and used it. I I don't think it's absolutely necessary. If you don't have the whisper thread, I wouldn't worry about it. You could just stitch his whiskers in white. So that is my first little finish. So this is something that I'm hoping to get FFO'd, fully finished, before December next year, so I can send them out with decorations. Because my goal is, like I said, to try to have a few things that I can finish up for each season to set out. The next one that I finished was in January, and I don't have the piece to show you, but it was from Primrose Cottage Stitches, and it's called Home Sweet Home, and it is a Valentine piece. I'm just realizing I meant to get my board to put behind my stuff, and I forgot it. So this one I finished, and I gave the chart to my mom because she's newly starting into cross stitch, and I thought she would like it. So this one is stitched on a piece of 32 count Lagana in the color Blush. So, and I used all of the called for overdyed threads. I think they're overdyed, and maybe even a couple of DMCs. Sorry for the crease in it. And then I started another Primrose Cottage that kind of matches, goes along with the same theme that I could put with it. And this one is the Valentine's Day Quilt by Primrose Cottage. And I started it on this, another part of this fabric. So all I got was that much done. I didn't get very far. But I thought I finished that kind of early in January, and I started working on another one. And then I still have a whole other half of the fabric to do a couple more, 2 or 3 more small finishes on. So that was a finish for January. And then this month I finished the first and only one of these that I have so far. And I enjoyed her, and I think I might have to get some more. But I got this Animal Cracker series from Stacy Nash, and this one was Maggie May. She was the one that I absolutely thought was the cutest. And I know Kim, the Contented Needleworker on Flosstube, she had did a conversion and did some pinks or something in hers. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to use any of the called for my Maggie May. I'm just going to pull from my stash. So I pulled a piece of fabric that I had, and I think this is 28 count because this was just in my fabric stash. And I believe this is a piece I might have got from a lady who passed away in our group that goes to Ocean City, Alberta. I think it might be a piece, some of her fabric that I got from her. But Maggie May. And I did her in pink colors, a darker pink, a hot pink jumper or sweater, and then a light pink dress with little, I wanted them to look like rosebuds. So I used the darkest pink color here as the pink color for the flower, and then the little green colors. So this is what I did with Maggie May. And I wanted her to have little black patent leather looking Mary Janes. So when I was a little girl, that's what we had for our Easter dresses. I think I might have had a white pair and a black pair at times. Back in the day, back in the 50s and 60s, usually it was a thing to go and get like your Easter picture taken with an Easter dress. You wore an Easter dress, got an Easter bonnet. We had little gloves, my sister and I. My mom would get us little gloves, a little Easter dress, a little Easter bonnet, and dress us all up, and, and take our picture for Easter with our little Easter baskets and things like that. So I'm going to show you what I used as my conversion, in case you're interested. A couple of these are overdyed and some are DMCs. So the medium pink color, the pink colors for her sweater were these two. So the main color of her sweater was this Victorian Motto raspberry pink color. And then for the darker colors in it and for the little rosebuds on her dress, I did DMC 3803. Okay. And then for her light pink dress, the lightest pink colors in her dress and in her ears and things was this Classic Colorworks Rosy Glow. So these were some of my pinks. And then for the little bit darker colors in her ears and for her nose, I think her cheek was done in this, was DMC 3354. So I used that color. So these were all the pinks that I used. 3354, 3803, and then Rosy Glow from Classic Colorworks, and then Raspberry Pink from Victorian Motto. And then for the little green leaves in the rosebuds on her dress, I used this WIPS Dye Works Ivy. And this is also what I used for the little tie. That's supposed to be tying her little sweater at the top. I just used a piece of this for this little tie right here. It's kind of hard to see. And I just used the whole 6-strand piece and just tied it in there. And then I used white for the one little shine in her pupil and her little whiskers. And then just DMC 310 black for her shoes and her eye. And then for the colors of her, for the lighter and the darker colors for the bunny herself, I used DMC 640 and 644. So these were the two colors I used for the bunny. Kind of wanted kind of a brownishy, grayy brown color bunny. Because we have bunnies a lot here in our yard, in our neighborhood, and they're basically about this color. We usually get, right outside my craft room around the corner, we usually get a rabbit's nest in our yard. The first year my husband noticed it, he was going to like just fill in the hole, and then he noticed there was little tiny bunnies in there. So we left it and let the little bunnies, you know, come out in the yard. And then we just hope that they don't wander into the fenced part of the yard and are in there when the dogs are out, because I know they will chase down the rabbits. But that's my little Maggie May. And the reason I use this piece, because I just wanted a neutral piece of fabric, but I had another piece that I'm going to use for her back when I finish her. And I've never finished anything like this, so that's going to be a trick for me. But I'm going to take, you know, of course, and do the outline around her and make her a little piece that next Easter, next spring and Easter, well, probably this spring and Easter. I'm going to try to finish her sometime soon in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, and get her ready to put out with my spring and Easter decorations. So those were all the colors I used for little Miss Maggie May. So now I will see if my mom, I'm not gonna do the little, I think this was in a little needle book, because she's just gonna be a decoration to sit out, and I don't need the little radish. I didn't think I'd do that, so I might change my mind, but right now I'm thinking, nah, don't need to do it. So those were my finishes that I had so far. I should show you what I'm thinking of trying to make. Let me get it real quick. What I'm trying to maybe do in March as a small start and finish, I was thinking of, I have it already out here on my shelf, is this Crochet A Go-Go, the little bunny. Last year for the winter, I did the little penguin. So I want to do the little bunny. And I've already chosen a piece of fabric. This one is a piece from Needle Bling Designs called Shrekie's Tan. I think I might use a piece of that to do. And this is a 32 count linen. So Belfast linen in Shrekie's Tan. So I think I'm going to do, that's my thought for my small that I want to work on next month. So that kind of would go with plans, but while I was already talking about that, I thought, might as well. So these next ones, these first three that I'm going to show you are still on a hoop or a Q-snap, because I was recently working on them and I might still work on them some more. And you can see what I was doing in them. I don't think there's anything that's not visible. The first one is by Birds of a Feather, and this one is the Happy Hearts sampler. And I did this one, I started this one this month in February because of Hearts for Valentine's. And I wanted to customize it some for my husband and I. So the initials in these two hearts will be my husband, and his name is Mark and Vicky. So I'll put an M and a V here. It looks like, I think it was already charted on the chart for an M in this heart over here. So I might leave his initial over here and just chart a V in this one. And then up here in this little black heart on the chart, you could put an initial in, and I put our last initial, U, in there. And I'm going to leave this to say Joy, I think, down there. Or maybe I think it was a date on the chart. The chart's a little bit different because this was recharted by Sherry, the Colorado cross stitcher. She has a shop and she has a Flosstube, Colorado cross stitcher. And she got the rights from the family to rechart and put out these retired charts from Birds of a Feather. It's my understanding, I think the person that was designing these passed away and the family just didn't want to deal with it. But Sherry contacted them and I think she bought the rights for it, or maybe she's paying them a part of the proceeds. I don't know. But I don't know how her business arrangement went with them, but she's doing these and she's releasing them a few at a month. So this one she released back in, I want to say December or January. So I purchased it from her. So I got all of the called for threads from her, and they are all Weeks Dye Works. And I've showed you this before, but this was something I saw off of Two Needles Pulling Thread. Missy showed where you could buy these tag things and use them for your Weeks Dye Works. Since there's no place to really put it in there, in your ring, if you want to attach it to a ring. And I like the way these work. So I bought a whole big pack of these, and I've been using these for my Weeks Dye Works floss drops. You can just, probably punch a hole on one of these sides and hang it like that if you wanted to. I think I saw somebody else do that, but I purchased these and I'm using those. So that's what those are. But these are all the colors. What I did was I went ahead and you could buy just the chart from Sherry, or you could get it kitted, and I went ahead and I got it kitted. And so I liked the threads, of course, the colors, but it came kitted with a piece of linen that was a Weeks Dye Works straw, I think. And I have, in the last few years, purchased 2 different colors of Weeks Dye Works, and I don't like either. I start stitching on them and I can't do it. It's very loose. And I'm thinking this was a new kit. So I'm pretty sure she's using what's called the new Weeks Dye Works fabric, but to me it's still it's not my favorite. I don't care for it. So I switched it to an Atomic Ranch fabric called Prairie Land, and this one's a 28 count Lagana. So it's a 28 count Lagana from Atomic Ranch called Prairie Land. And so I started stitching it with the called for Weeks DMCs. Weeks flosses. And here's how far I got. So like I said, I did chart the U in here for my husband and I. And I think it's charted with the word true in here. And then here it says, busy hands make happy hearts. So I started that, but I didn't get it finished. So my threaded needle is still sitting right there. And what else was I going to say about this? Oh, the bird's missing his little couple of stitches for his beak and for his eyes right here. But I think I did the eyes. No, I did the eyes. But look kind of funny, don't they? He looks a little alienish, but he doesn't have his beak yet. So I do still need to put his beak. But that is Prairie Land by Atomic Ranch, and this is Happy Hearts by Birds of a Feather. And the only place that I know of that you can get these is from Sherry, Colorado Cross Stitcher. So unless she's starting to put them out to other shops to distribute, you can go to her website. Just look her up online, Colorado Cross Stitcher, and you'll be able to see which one she has available. The next one that I've been working on most recently is a Cottage Garden Samplings, and this one is called Summer at the Shore, and this is a Time for All Seasons series number 8. I just love the seagull and the lighthouse. I want this out for summer, so I'm trying to get this one finished before summertime. I did start this maybe 2 years ago. Well, almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years this summer, I think. And I thought, I need to get this out and get it finished. I had all of the waves done down here, the thing that the seagull is standing on. I even had the seagull's little feet. I had the whole lighthouse already done. So I picked it up the other day, and this one's being stitched on a piece of 16 count Aida. It's an overdyed Aida called Country French Cafe Mocha. And this is how far I am. So I was able to come in here and get this part of the seagull. He's not quite done, but I've got a lot of him done. There's still a part of his back right here that needs to go in, and then fill in where the design work is there in the white. And of course his eye and his beak still need to be filled in. I am doing a color conversion. I kitted this from Stash, and I didn't have all the colors. So I just picked some that went along with the color scheme. But just slightly different because I didn't have the called fors. So I still need to do the starfish and the ship and the waves and finish the seagull. I'm hoping to get this done for this summer. So that's where I am on that one. And the last one that's still in a Q-snap, because I was working on not too long ago, because I've been working a lot on fall and winter and things like that. And then I thought, you know, this one I pulled up because I thought I'm ready for some spring colors and things that just aren't white and stuff. So, in black for fall and everything. So I pulled up Miss Lucy Cowcut 1825. There are two Lucy Cowcuts. She did a 1825 and I think the other one is 1826. I picked this one. I liked this one out of the two. They're both beautiful. But this border is gorgeous, and I love the colors. There's something about pinks and greens that I really, really like. So I started this one and worked a little bit more on it. I started this last year for one of my 62 new starts last year. And I'm not sure exactly when I started it. I've got the fabric all caught up here in my Q-snap, but this is where I am. So I came and I'm working down in the lower left-hand corner. And I already had most of this border in and some of this grass. So I came in and I did this. I did the tree. I did these two animals. I started this crown motif here and worked some more of this grass over, because now I'm going to get ready to work up to this. There's a red house here. It starts up in here. So that's where I am. And this is on a 32 count Lugana. Oh, what color was this? This might be a Those Missing Stitches color. And her names always have two, like I have one that's Poetic Pony Boy. I have Darling David. So she always does with the same initial and two names, like Marvelous Maisie or something, you know, so. But that's where I am on this one, and I'm loving it. The animals, like, you know, on some of these old reproduction samplers look kind of funny to me, but, you know, I stitch it the way the little girl stitched it. So let me set this up here. And all the rest of my things are in project bags, so there we go again. Miss Lucy Cow, oh, she was 8. Age 8 years old in 1825. So it's up here. The only thing with this one, I feel like she got tired of it, didn't finish it for some reason, because there's nothing over here, and this over here looks like it was starting to be something and she didn't finish it. So it's a little incomplete, but I love all of the florals, and this border was just gorgeous. So sorry, I don't know exactly what this one is stitched on. A lot of times I keep the card a lot of times on the fabric, and if it's on there, I can't tell it is. I have it all folded up in my Q-snap, because that's how I work with my larger pieces of fabric. Like this is on a whole fat half. So I just double up my fabric. I take it and this is doubled up in here. I just fold it over and clamp it in. And this side is folded over. You can see that it's doubled over here with the little bit that's there. And where it's not doubled over, I use just a piece of felt and kind of to hold it really tight, because I like my fabric really tight in my Q-snaps and hoops. Okay, these are in no particular order. I just grabbed them, threw them in a pile, and we're just going to go with it. Because some of them I picked up maybe twice. Maybe I worked on it in January and February. So, and I think a couple of these might be ones that I was working on in November, or just, you know, and then I pulled them back up again. I don't know. Because some of these are fall, some of these are Christmas, some of these are Halloween, and some of these are non-seasonal. So I have a whole variety here. That one's all stuck. This one is Blackbird Fractor by Plum Street Samplers. Looks like this. And I pulled this up. Let's see. What am I stitching this one on? This one is on, I gotta be careful how I'm sitting in this chair. I feel my back. 28 count Lugana in the color Oatmeal by Fiber on a Whim. So 28 count Lugana, Fiber on a Whim, Oatmeal. Let me double this over because I'm just on one side of this one so far. And this is where I am. I started on the left-hand side. And I've got one of the blackbirds in, most of the tulip, whatever flower that is, next to him. And I finished the fence. So where I was when I picked this up, I had some of the bird done. I think some of his tail here done. And the gate over maybe about halfway. So I finished the fence, this wrought iron looking fence. And I completely finished him, put his acorn in his mouth. The flower, I had all that done before. So that's where he is. So I'm not quite halfway because I have a whole other bird and more flowers and the candelabra that goes in the middle. So I still have a ways to go. But I got this out and got more stitched on this one. So I watch Narissa's Stitching Lifestyle, and she always says, little by little, that'll get those pieces done. So that's the way I always look at it. And another thing that I look at is that if you don't start it, you're not going to get it finished. So I like to get a start on things when I can, like especially if they're big pieces. I know they're not something that I'm going to pick up and I'm going to work on monogamously until they're finished, because that's just not me. That's not how I work. I'm not an ADD personality, but I kind of am with my cross stitch. It's like a squirrel. I work for a little bit on something, but then I start getting a little tired of either the design, the threads, the fabric, whatever I'm working with, the colors, you know, and then I need to switch it to something different. And that's why also I stitch from several different designers, because and styles. I don't do all reproduction samplers, but I have several. I don't do all Plum Street, but I have several. I don't do all Blackbird or all Teresa Kogets, but I have lots of each of these designers. This next one is a fall one also, and this one is also at Plum Street. And this one is called White Pumpkin Farm. It's not very big, but it's got a lot of dense stitching. This is completely stitched in, and this whole, I almost want to call it a barn, but it has a door. So a regular door instead of a barn door. So a big, long red house. I am stitching this. Let's see. What am I stitching this on? Looks like a even weave. Looks like a raw, natural, maybe wheat. Yeah, wheat Lugana, 28 count wheat Lugana. And I think I'm using all, no, I'm not using all the called for. I have some DMCs here, and this one here, these are Victorian mottos. So those must have been pulled from my stash because they're not called for sure. I may have had a couple of the called for, you know, because I do have a couple of these overdyes, or these just might be ones that I pulled because I thought they would go nice. I don't know. I kit from stash a lot. So this one, I can fold it over so that hopefully it's not see-through. Like I said, this is 28 count Lugana in the color wheat. And this is how far I got. So when I picked this up, I barely had any in it. I think I started this one This might have been a like New Year's Eve start or something where you just stitched on something for an hour. Because all I had was a little bit of this border in, and I think the one blackbird, and that's it. So I came and I picked it up, and I was working on it for an evening or two, and did a little bit more of that full coverage top part of this design. So that's where that one is. Oh, all the floss fuzz is getting in my nose already, and I'm just getting started. You see me rub my nose in every single video. It's like all the fibers just start flowing up, flowing around. It seems like they go right to my nose. Let's see. Let's pick this bag. This next one. This one is Mary Ann Kopp. I was working on her not too long ago, so I know this is something I was working on in February. And it is a Brenda Gervais with thy needle and thread piece. And it's Mary Ann Kopp, 1839, so I'm guessing it's a reproduction. Oh, yes, it is, because on the back she shows the original. So she must have purchased this and charted it. When I pulled this up, I decided what I'm trying to do now this year on a lot of these large samplers I have, I want to try to get the bones of the border done on a lot of them. So this was one that I did because I just want to make sure A, fits on the fabric, B, lines up, matches up, because a lot of these borders, especially in the reproduction ones, it might go 10 stitches, 5 stitches, 10 stitches, 5 stitches, 10 stitches, 3 stitches, 10 stitches, 5 stitches, 10 stitches, 5 stitches, 9 stitches instead of 10, you know, so you have to be very careful because they weren't always exact. And I am stitching this on, what color is this? 28 count Lugana in the color Not Another Sampler by Be Stitch Me. And let me stand up to show this one because I've got the border in. So I went around and I got the border. It matched. No problem. Yay. I was happy for that. So just putting that border, the bones of the border alone, I think I spent 2 whole days, you know, evenings or my couple of hours I have in the day to stitch. I already had a lot of, I think I finished the brick over here. I think that's the end of the brick. So I did do some over in here. I had all these flowers already in and probably that much of the border, but I went around and finished putting the bones of the border all the way around. And then I started on the trees. I was going to start on the trees. That's why there's a thread hanging there. So let me bring it in closer. And that is my Mary Ann Kopp by With Thy Needle and Thread. Oh, I'll try to sit down here. Yeah, my back does not like these chairs. I don't know why. I have very few places I can sit without it hurting my back. And it's not anything I think I need surgery for. It's just, I just need to rehab it. And it's just taking forever. So, it's a lot better than it was, that's at least. So I'm thankful for that. And actually, I pulled out some of the chart there. Let me put it all back in. I think I'm doing all the called for this one. So I have all of the called for threads. And I'm doing it on that Not Another Sampler by Be Stitch Me. And I did purchase all of the overdyed threads. And I'm using this one DMC 977 here. But the rest are all Weeks Dye Works, and it looks like Classic Color Works and a Gentle Arts. So, and how far I got on that one. This next piece, same thing. I was working on the border on this one. I wanted to get the border done. This is a piece I've been working on for, it'll be 3 years this April, because I started it in April of 2022 with a few of my girlfriends. And this one is in the Let Love Rain book. And it is Let Love Rain. So it looks like, it over like this. Sure, most of you have seen it. It came out at Market 3 years ago. We're getting ready for Market of 2025 now. My hair. I was out today and it is windy. It's nice. The snow's gone, but the wind's blowing and it blows my hair everywhere. And then the next thing I know, I can fix it and all that stuff, and you'll never know I did. But I figured, you know what? If I worried about my hair looking like mess, I'd never get a video done. So this one is on a large piece of fabric, because this is a big piece. It's 28 count ivory Lugana. And I am using most of the colors. I think I brightened up the one blue color a little bit. Hold on, I got to stand up to show this one. So this one, because my border is all the way around, and this one is quite large. It's going to be very large, actually. At the time when I started it, this is what I had that it would fit on, that would look nice on. So I started on this. It's going to be very big, very, very big. But I went around, I got the border to match. And the reason for this one, I really wanted to get the border done before I got all those flowers in there. I had already made a mistake in the top part of the border, and I already had all those flowers in there. And I thought, I am not picking all those flowers out to redo the border. So, and I also, when I picked it up this time, I wanted to get that. I got that 2 of these inner bands across. I already had all of this stitched up here. And I came and I started stitching down in here. So what my mistake is, when I got over to here and I was doing this border, I think it was the inner border or something, I thought, wait a minute, this isn't matching up. It's running into that border. Why? So when I looked really close, I noticed, I think there's supposed to be, I believe, 6 stitches at the bottom of each of these. I think it's 6. And 2 of them, I think it's this one and this one way over here, only have 5, either this one or this one. So my border that goes this way, you know, from left to right, is 2 stitches small. Oh, I know what made me realize it. When I came in and I started doing this chain, when I got over to here, I had a space, but when I was over here, it ran into it. So I was like, I'm 2 stitches short. So I thought, you know what? I need to, before I get any more flowers in this border, fix this, make this work. So now that I know that I have 1 stitch less, what I'm doing is making it 1 stitch less on each side. Because when I looked, nothing is closer than 2 stitches to any of the borders on the edges, any of these inner borders. Like this, the butterfly here is 2 stitches away, but I made it 1 stitch away. And it'll be the same, there's a butterfly over here. It'll only be 1 stitch away from this border when I stitch it. And that way, just like here, I made this closer to where it's 1 stitch away. So I needed to adjust it. So that's what I did. I said, how am I going to adjust this so that when I get to the bottom down here, I brought it down, brought it across, and I wanted it to all work in this corner here. So I thought, how am I going to make this match up if up here it's too short? So what I did is I took 2 stitches out over here. So when I get here in this, the 2 flowers that are in here are going to be 1 stitch shorter to each side, because when I looked, there's more than 1 stitch away, right in here and right in here. So when I looked at it, it's going to work. So that's how I made it work. That's how I finagled it, because I was like, I am not starting it over, because I had almost pretty much this whole top done, except for I'm missing this part right here over here. And like I said, I stopped putting the flowers in because I thought it's messed up right now. So I got to fix it. I got to figure out how I'm going to fix this before I continue on. I even thought about, you know what? I already have a little bit of a mistake. I'm doing it on 28 count and it's going to be humongous. I can't remember what the dimensions are going to be, but it's going to be 20 something inches by like 20 or something. That's going to be like 25 by 20, some crazy amount. But I even contemplated redoing it, restarting it, and putting it on a smaller count, like doing it on like a 36 count or something. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to restart it. I like it on this. I think it's a pretty color, and I'm just going to continue to go on with it. And it's just going to be big. Because actually I enjoy stitching on 28 and 32 count the best. I do have some pieces I'm stitching on. I think I have one thing on 36 count, I want to say. And then I have a couple of pieces, 2 or 3 pieces, like Ann Dale on 40 count. But I'm not enjoying them as much. So I don't pull them up. I don't work on them as long because my eyes get tired easy, even though I have an Ottlight. I have a really good pair of reading glasses, extra strength pair that I wear when I'm stitching only, because they're so extra strength that I can't read and stuff with them, but I can do really close-up work with them. The blue that I switched in is a Forget-Me-Not by Victorian Motto that was in my stash. It's a little brighter than, I think it's like 926 or something like that was called for. So I just wanted a little brighter blue in there. And I think this white, yeah, this is 17th Century Old Lace by Victorian Motto. So I picked those two as in there instead of the called for colors for those. So that is Let Love Rain. And like I said, this April, I will have been working on that one for 3 years. But last year, I didn't get a lot of work done on pieces like this. I don't think I worked on this one at all last year because I was doing the 62 new starts. So I kind of stalled a lot of my WIPs last year. So this year, I'm trying to work a lot more. I'm trying to whip those WIPs more and not do as many new starts. Not starting things. But look at this. What is this? So this next piece, I said it's nice. It's like in the 50s here today, sunny, and it's going to be in the 60s, I think the low 60s for a couple of days. It's getting warmer and teasing us with spring, but not too long ago it was snowing. So I wanted to work on a snow piece. Let me see if I can find where the cover photo is. What did I do with it? Here it is. So I don't want to show the chart. It's by Barbara Anna, and it's called Let It Snow. I started this as a New Year's Eve, 12 by 12 for New Year's Eve a couple of years ago. Not this New Year's, but I think it was in the 2022 December. I don't know. And I only had a little bit of the scissors done, and I think I started on this little house and this little house, and that was all I had. So I thought, I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to let this be my snow day piece. This one is being stitched on a piece of blue Lugana. It's not an overdyed. I'm not sure. I want to say it's, I can't remember the color name. And I don't think oh, no, that's not right. This says it's Blueberry Lugana, but it's not. Anyways, and I'm stitching it with the Call for DMC. Let me fold this in half because I'm only going to need half of this piece of fabric, this fat quarter. And I came in and I finished the scissors. And I started on a little vase all the way on the end over here. That's as far as I got. I was working on this that snow day. And I thought, all I had was like this little bit of the scissors here. Because I did, besides that 1 hour on New Year's Eve, I think I picked it up one more time that year, like a few weeks later, and I did a little bit more. But I came in and I did all of that over there, and I think it's going to be gorgeous on this blue fabric. So that's what it's looking like so far. And this other half here of this blue is going to be, it's reserved for, and I already have them in the bag, for Cottage Garden samplings. They did the Year in the Woods. Well, that's on my DMCs. These are on bobbins. Sometimes I've had them on bobbins. I'm an old cross stitcher. I've been cross stitching since the 80s, and bobbinating was what I did. And so bobbinating doesn't bother me at all. I wanted to do this little fox. I wanted to do him. I think the oranges in him, those goldeny oranges are gonna pop, and the white snowflakes and stuff, just like the white is popping here, he's gonna pop on this fabric. And it's big enough, this other half, for him. So he's already in this bag because he's gonna get done on the other side of this piece of fabric one of these days. So that's by Barbara Anna. It's called Let It Snow. I have a few snow pieces, so I had to decide which one I felt like pulling out and working on my snow day. Oh, I left that out. Put that down there. This next piece is a Plum Street Samplers. This one I started last year as one of my 62 new starts. And I pulled it up again. I've worked on it a few times. And it's called American Welcome. This one came out last year. And this is what it looks like. Looks like I'm using all of the called for colors except for avocado, I'm pulled out holly that I have, and for green apple, I'm using green apple instead of 732. That's what it is, and I'm using avocado instead of holly, and I'm using Japanese red maple instead of 347. So I did switch out, and my fabric, I don't know, this white house right here did not show up. It wasn't going to show up really nice on my fabric. I'm using a piece of 32 count Lagana in the color Darling David by Those Missing Stitches. Love this fabric. I love this color. I actually had to buy more of it. I think I've bought more twice now of this color. And this is where I am on American Welcome. I love the pieces that have modeling that you can see, but it's not too much in your face. It doesn't distract too much from the stitching. And when I came in, like I said, this was supposed to be white, and I switched it to a yellow color that was in the design. But when I came up this last time, I think I had everything over to like here done. So I came in, I did this red house, I did more of this grass, I filled in all of this blue here, and I did these words. I'm sorry, I'm getting a text on my, I'm filming on my iPad. And it said, you have an appointment, a reminder for something. And I was like, I do? I have an appointment today? It's for Wednesday. Got to take the dogs to the vet for their checkups. But I did all of this over in here. So that's what I did this last time. Because this is one I would love to see finished this year. So we'll see. We'll see. It's not too incredibly large. That's as tall as it is. And then it's, I don't know if I'm halfway through. Let me see. Let me look at the design. I got up to the red house. I think I'm a little more than halfway across. So I still got that one blue house over to the other side and a little tiny lighthouse over there. You can see that. And of course, all the flowers and the words and everything. So, and to still fill in all of that water and grass down at the bottom. I'm not going to, it's not that I don't mind the saying on this at the bottom where it says, God bless the US of A, but I don't think it needs it. I want it to end with the water. So I'm going to leave out that because that just seems like that's just sitting out there all by itself. And it doesn't make any sense to me to have that under there. I love Plum Street. So don't get me wrong. I don't, think the designer does great work. And some people might want to leave that on there. But I want my piece. And I think, too, it'll fit in. I don't remember if it was a 9x12 or 8x10. What it'll fit in. But I was like, it makes more sense to me to leave that off. And I know there's a bunch of people that are. And I am a religious person. I don't mind the word God on my pieces. I don't mind scripture on my pieces. It's just, I think it unbalances it a little bit to me, for my own personal piece. It's my stitched piece, and that's what I'm going to do on that one is probably more than likely leave that off because I just don't think it needs it on there. So the next one. Oh, this one. I told you my mom is getting started in cross stitch. She's done a little bit of cross stitching. So I told her, I said, she goes, it's too bad there's not a cross stitch store here in Fredericksburg. I live in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And I said, well, the only ones we have some out west to the mountains. I think there's one out in Winchester. And then I know we have Liberty Hill Needleworks down in Williamsburg, and there's In Stitches up in Alexandria. Going north on 95 is a real pain because then you're getting closer to DC. The traffic is ridiculous. So I don't usually get up to In Stitches very often at all. But I told her, I said, we could go to Williamsburg. It was going to be a decent day. It wasn't going to be snowing or raining and or too cold. And I said, so how about we go to Williamsburg? So a few weeks ago, I think it was back in the end of January, I took her to Liberty Hill Needleworks. And when we were there, this by the chart here, I would have thought nothing about it, but I loved the finish of this because it was also done on a completely different color piece of fabric. So I tried to mimic the color they had as best I could with the fabrics they had available there. And I found a piece that I think, well, it looks very close to what the model was stitched on. But this is Silver Creek Samplers, Mary Rotter's Spelling Lessons. And this was just beautiful over there. It was a cute piece. It's not super big. So I started this when I got home. After I bought this piece of fabric. This one, oh my gosh, I forgot what the name of this one is. I don't know if this, no. I wanted to say this was Ween's Beans by, I don't know. I'm sorry. It's a 32 count linen. And maybe by the next time I show it, I'll remember to look up what colored fabric this is. But it has some modeling in it. It's a kind of an orangey tan color. And I got that far on it. Oh, she's just so cute. So I think it's more, this looks more true to color back here. I think this is going to look adorable when it's finished. Looks okay on the gray, looks good on the gray, but I liked it on this, the more orangey tan color they had, the model stitched on. I think it's so cute. You can tell I had it in a nerd shape because you can see the creases. This is adorable. So maybe I'll get it done by this Halloween, this fall, so I can set it out because it's not super big because I already have all of this up here done, except for the, I don't have the spider web in, but I have a few more lines of, I'm about a third done. So I'll pick it up a couple more times. I can get it finished. So let's see. Let's see. I have so much that I'm stitching on though, that, and I'm using all of the called for DMC colors. Yeah, it's all DMC. And I'm just pulling those DMCs from, I have a master stash of DMC, and I'm just pulling those from that. This one I was working on recently. This one I started with Lindsay. She has a Flosstube channel called Blushing Pink Stitches. She lives in the UK. And her and I started this back, oh gosh, in 2022. Let me see. And we called this the Songbird Sal. Hashtag Songbird Sal. I'm stitching this on, and I'm going to restart it, June 1st of 2022. So this June, it'll be 3 years old. So I had to get it out. I had to work on this one some more. So I'm doing this one on 28 count Lugana in the color Springfield Sage, and I'm using the DMC conversion. And this one is called Forever and Ever by Cottage Garden Samplings. Looks like this. So when I pulled it out, I already had, let's see, all of this, the white flower finished and the leaves here. And I had this outlined, had the dark outline of the pink flower. And I thought, you know, I really too want to get down where I could maybe start in this male cardinal down at the bottom. And I pulled this out because February is Valentine's Love. So another themed piece for Valentine's for me. I'm using all the called for DMCs. Well, I think there's DMCs. Lindsay's using the overdyed conversion, and I'm using the DMC colors. And I forgot what color, what fabric she's using. But it looks like it's Weeks Dye Works, and then they have the conversion alternate to DMC. I'm using the DMC. Whoops. Oh, hold on. Let's see if I can reach the floor. Ow. Okay. So this is, what did I call it? Say this was something sage? Springfield sage. Lugana. I have not cut this piece of fabric yet. Had on a fat half. I do not need this whole fat half. But I'm afraid to cut it until I kind of bring it around and know exactly where. Oops, it goes this way. Ouch, my back. So I came in and I did this. I did this right down here. So I'm all the way to where that male cardinal now sits. He sits right in here. And I want to still work on the pink flower too. I think the pink flower is going to be gorgeous. So that's how far I am. And the color, it looks gray on the screen, but it's more of a really light gray-green color. It's green. Springfield sage. And sage is kind of a grayish green color, I think. I want to say. So that's where I am on this one. One of these years I'll get this one finished. This one's very pretty. Somebody who has this finish is Lori. She's Once Upon a Stitch. She has a Flosstube channel. Once Upon a Stitch. She has this one finished. She finished it a while back. I can't remember which video she shows it in. And at times it's been behind her. She usually videos in her craft room also. But she switches out the stuff behind her. So at times it's behind her. Lately I haven't seen it behind her. This one is a new start. I got this and I've been watching Lisa Kindred Stitcher on Flosstube do this one. And I thought, she's killing me. I have to start it now. I can't wait, even though it's not a huge piece, but it is densely, there's going to be a lot of dense stitching on it because it is a Plum Street. And this one is one of the newer ones by Paulette with Plum Street. And this one's called Real Comfort. It's got a lot of stitching in it. It's like huge house, all that grass and all those leaves and flowers. But I love it and it's beautiful. And it says, there is nothing like staying home for real comfort. Yes, I'm a homebody. So I am stitching this one on, do I have, what is this? This is part of the chart. Stitching this one on, what is this? This looks like a piece of Darling David from Those Missing Stitches. I'm almost positive that's what this is. So this is a 32 count Lugana in the color Darling David by Those Missing Stitches. I'm using all the called for fabrics, flosses. So I have the DMCs are on these floss drops. I have Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works. I have all of the, so it's very autumnal color combo going on there. I shouldn't need to stand up because I don't think I have to unfold this all the way. Because I'm not that far. I just started it not too long ago. I think I started it the end of January, maybe. So I'm this far. And I have a hanging thread. Excuse that. So this is an upper left-hand corner start. And this is how far I got. And the color is more of a yellowy tan. The light modeling in it. So sometimes sitting in front of the window, it makes it where you can see it very clear, I think. But it throws the colors off a little bit. Like even on me, it really is like brings out the red in my hair a whole lot sitting in front of the window. So changes colors a little bit when you're in front of a window. Now the next one, what is this? What was this one? Oh yes, this is one I would love to have finished this year, but it's going to take a lot of work to do it, and that is with a needle and thread, Brenda Gervais. It's Rejoice Evermore. She came out, I think, at Market a couple of years ago with this one. Pretty sure this was a market release. And I love it. It is gorgeous. This is very spring looking. And when I was dying to work on something that was springish, I got it out. I'm pretty sure I'm using the called fors. No, wait a minute. Make sure. This was a New Year's Eve start in 2022. So the last day in 2022, ringing in 2023. So a little over a couple of years ago, I started this one. So if it was a New Year's start, I only got like a 1 hour start on it, but I worked on it some since then for sure, because there's no way I would have got all this done that I got done on it in 1 hour. That's for sure. Pretty sure I'm using all the called for. Pretty sure. I don't think I see a conversion. Oh, except for I'm using Manor Red by Classic Colorworks instead of Lancaster Red. I don't think I could get Lancaster Red, and I had Manor Red in my stash. So when I wanted to start this one. This one is on a piece of, it looks like 32 count Ivory Lugana. I wonder if I have to stand up, probably. Because I got quite a bit done on this one. This is one that I need to go the next time I pick it up and finish the border. Just to make sure it meets up and everything before I go any farther on adding any more flower buds or anything into the border. But this is where I am on Rejoice Evermore. So I do have a lot of the border done, but I need to get that the rest of the way around before I start filling in any more flower buds. When I worked on this the last time, I think I did a couple of these leaves that with this branch the bird's on. I think I had the bird. And then I was working, I think I brought this across and started working in the house. So let me bring it in closer. Hold on. My back is locking up on me a little bit. So this is where I got to on here. So that's the top. I've had that done for a while. And then the next thing, and then I brought it down some more, and I remember I did the bird where it says Rejoice Evermore. And then I think it has the scripture reference, Thessalonians something. And then, like I said, most recent, I was working on this house. So I got the bottom part of the house done. And I brought across this border. So, hold it back again one more time. This is where I am. So there is a little extra fabric over here that I can cut off, and I just haven't. Sometimes I kind of don't want to when it's serged fabric, just because then it might start unraveling more. But Rejoice Evermore by With Thy Needle and Thread. Love this piece. I really want to get that one finished. Let me see if I can get in my chair here. Hold on. Okay. I still have about eight maybe more WIPS to show you guys. So let's get that done. This next piece, I had trouble finding it because I was like, okay, it shows I worked on it, but what did I do with it? And I found it. It was sitting in my to-go bag for travel stitching. That's why I couldn't find it. It wasn't on my wall of WIPS over back here. Back here is where I store all of my projects. So this is what I have going on over here. And then down underneath, I have like smalls charts, you know, so if I want to, and they're divided up by seasons and things like that and themes. I have smalls charts, and I can't remember what's in these other couple. And then up here in these boxes, this is charts, just plain charts that aren't kitted. This is all of the regular that are non-seasonal. Then here are all my Christmas winter, and up here this is a fall box, so that has all my fall and Halloween charts. If I ever fill these boxes up, that means I have way more charts than any person needs to have. So hold on. Okay, slide myself around here. So the next piece, like I said, was in my travel bag. And I was like, no wonder I couldn't find them. I was looking all over on this over here, and I was like, because I have them separated by seasons, and all across the top are all kind of generic or samplers. And then like over here are like some long dogs and things like that, and monochromatic pieces like modern folk embroidery. And then I have them in different categories, like the reproduction samplers and blackbirds and plum streets and Teresa Kogets and so on. And then the second row are mostly seasonal. So then they're divided by Christmas and winter, fall and Halloween, spring and summer. And then I have patriotic down at the very bottom there. And I have my Hawkrun hollows and yeah, pretty much my Hawkrun hollows and stuff in the other bin on the other side that's at the bottom down there. So this one is still on a little hoop because, like I said, I found it in my little travel bag. This one's by Silver Creek Samplers, and it's called Give Greatly. This is one I started the end of last year or the very first of this year. And I love the little saying on it, and it's just adorable. Your greatness is not in what you have, but in what you give. Look at that. The little bunny and the snowman and the carrot for his nose. So it's still in a little nerd tube. This is on a piece of vintage country mocha in the, looks like it's a 32 count vintage country mocha. And that's how far I am. So I got a little snowman head done, and I started on his scarf. Vintage country mocha is a beautiful color for whites to really stand out and show. Without being too, it's not a dark fabric, but it's dark enough that whites pop. So, and it's just in a little nerd hoop here. And I think I pulled all of the DMCs for it and just put it on one of these. I got these on Amazon, a whole pack of these. So sometimes I use these when it's a smaller project and I don't need whole bunches. Like I just wanted it in my travel bag. So, I knew I didn't need a whole bunch of the orange. It's just basically for the carrots and, things like that. So I put it on there, label it all with what number DMCs, and put it in my little zippy bag from Amazon here, my little mesh zip bag. And it was in my travel, sitting there for me to take, sometimes when I take the dogs to the groomers, I sit in the car and I wait. It takes a couple hours for her to do both dogs. So I usually sit in the car while she's doing it because I have to take them where I used to live when I lived outside of Fredericksburg, out in the country. And she does it in her house. This next one is a Plum Street Samplers. This is one of the Christmas ones I was working on. This one is This Happy Morning, and I'm doing this version, the lighter one. You can also do darker. Some people are doing that. I'm doing this one. And I'm doing this on, it looks like a 32 count piece of Lagana in the color probably ivory. I don't think I need to stand up for this one. I think this one is not that big. That's how far I am on this one so far. I think what I did this last time is I came in and I finished these trees that were over to the side, and I was working in the barn. This is where the roof kind of starts. It goes across here like that. So it goes across here. So I'm working in this part of the barn. I don't know. But that barn is something else because it has all that design, but that is cool. The only problem with doing it on this light of fabric is that my white stitches aren't showing up that much. Like here I've done it in they overlap over top of these trees. So you can see it where it's over the green real good, but where it's not, it's hard to see it. It's very ghosted. And then there are a couple of them floating around out here. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I don't know if I'm going to keep going with it and just say, hey, whatever. The little snowflakes are just going to be ghosted. Because this is a kind of a yellowy color, but like an ecru kind of color, cream, but not dark enough. Oh well. So a few more left. Oh, what are we at? just over an hour. I'm going to try to come back every month and do monthly check-ins with you guys so that I don't have this many and I don't have to sit here this long. Because I think, you know, that's the problem. One of my problems is I can't sit for super long in a chair like this. And I can't twist and move around too much. This one's by Teresa Kogut. And this is Heaven and Nature. This one's from a few years ago. It's a really big piece. Sort of copyright year on here. I don't know. But it's Heaven and Nature. Oops, a lot of glare. And I thought, I need to get going in that humongous red house. I started at the top. I've been working in the top a lot over the last few years. Like, probably started this about 3 years ago. Like I said, last year I didn't get a lot of work on ongoing WIPS. Oh, this one's on a piece of Fortnite fabrics, which they are not dyeing fabrics anymore. In the color Caravan Tan, and it's a 32 count Lugana. And I am using all the DMCs? Nope, there's Weeks dye work. There's not a lot of colors in this one, which is amazing. But she switches colors quite often here, so. Well, not major. She just is very good at her use of colors. Or she could take and only use 6 colors and in a huge design like this, but yet it doesn't look like it only has 6 colors in it. Let's see if I fold it in half. And this is where I am. So I was working on the top before a lot. And I thought, you know what? I need to get down here and get going in this house. So I did. I got the house framed in. Slide closer. And if you could see the roof, it's real hard to see. It's 2 different colors. Let me see if I can hold this up better. So it's kind of a greenish-y color and a brown color in the roof tiles. I think I did a little bit of here, and then I came down. I thought, I was here, and I thought, or here. And I thought, I can count down to a chimney and then start framing in this house. Because I need to really get, and that's just the center part. There's a whole other section off to each side of this house. That's just the middle. And that's going to be a whole lot of stitching. Let me show you again. And I had been up here, so there's a piece of thread hanging here too from this scarf. I think the last time I was working on it, before this time. But as I looked at it, I thought, you know what? I really want to get going in that house. I need to. So that's crazy. Pull that thread up. It's too bad that Fortnite Fabrics, you know, stopped. And I know why they did. They are no longer together, so they can't dye fabric together anymore. So, but they had beautiful fabric, very beautiful fabric. Loved it. The next piece is a Teresa Kogut, another Teresa Kogut, but this one, I feel like I'm losing my light. It's sunny out, but the sun's already going down. What time is it? 4:30. So hopefully you guys are still seeing well enough. I could turn on another light in here. Remember Me by Teresa Kogut. And I started this a while back. Let me go turn on the light real quick. So that, because it's, as you can see, it's getting dark in here. And I want to make sure you guys can still see to, as long as that's not going to glare behind too badly. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it doesn't. Sorry for that. I didn't realize it would get darker so quick, even though because the sun's out today. Oh, okay. Remember Me by Teresa Kogut. I'm going to try to block that light, that ceiling light, when I'm holding things up, so hopefully it's not glaring in your face too badly. I'm sorry for that. Maybe, I don't know if I can tilt this down anymore. Too much. This one, as you see here, it's done on like a light whitish kind of color, like maybe an off-white of some sort. I decided I wanted to do this one on a 28 count Lugana in the color Under the Mistletoe. So it's got a green tint. This is a green colored fabric. And this is how far I am. See, now I'm going to have a glare. Shoot. Maybe I should just turn the light off. Maybe I'll turn that one on over there, the art light that's over the desk. Or my crafting desk. That helps a little bit. So this is how far I am. Let me block that light up there. I came in and I did some work over here, and then I wanted to come in and get this huge flower done. It's in the middle here that has a lot of counting in it. So I worked on that big flower. But this is the border so far. This flower right here is not supposed to be filled in with this cream color, but that's because it was just like kind of the red in the outline. But it was on an off-white fabric. And so I decided to fill it in with cream since I'm on a green, light green color fabric. And then I did a little bit of the daisy that's here. And I think I did, I think that's it. I think I did some of the daisy. I think I filled in all of these windows and the door. I can't remember if the door was in yet or not. I was working on the roof. And then I came up and I did this big flower. So that's where I am on this one. Cover that light. Let me try turning on the other light. I can't believe I'm losing my daylight already. It's not like it's a cloudy day. I mean, it is still not summer, but it doesn't get dark till 6 o'clock. So I was thinking I could get a video in before it started seeming dark in here. I don't know. I don't know if that light's going to help or not. Oh my gracious. Okay. Whoops, I forgot to put that chart in that bag. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. My hair's a mess. My video's a mess. Can't get the lighting going good. Still evidently having back issues. I haven't tried to sit in this chair this long in a long time. In months. So I think after I did that last video, by the time I finished filming and I tried to pick everything up and put it away, I was in so much pain I could hardly walk. So I thought, you know what, I have to wait till my back's better. And I'm waiting forever for that to happen. So, and it is better. It is better. It is better. I'm going to keep complaining about it. Okay, this one is a winter one. This one's a Christmas one. This one is called Santa's Village. And this one is one, I'm doing it with all of the called for. So they call for a lot of DMC, but each one has 1 or 2 overdyed. And it's a whole set by, let's see, let me get them out. It's a whole set by Country Cottage Needleworks. So, and I've numbered them all. Like there's 4. This is Santa's Village. So there's a whole bunch of them. You know, Mrs. Claus's Cookie Shop, Santa's House, Poinsettia House, and I'm doing these on Vintage Country Mocha, 32 count, and I think I was working on the 3rd. I'm doing, the way you set it up usually is 4 crossed and 3 down, and I'm putting them all together on one piece of fabric, Vintage Country Mocha. The dog's going to start getting hungry. The one that's in here with me, the younger one, Molly, she's starting to move around because she's like, hey, it's dinner time. I know, baby, I'm almost done. I know I'm almost done. Now she's clawing at my chair, trying to get my attention. So I already had the first 2 done, except for I think I still needed to do some of the snowflakes, and I was bringing this across. And then I was working on the 3rd house here. And this was back in December when I was working on this. Gosh, let me see if I can hold this up. Hold on, baby. Hold on. Come here. You want to say hi? Come here. Hold on. This one's the younger one. This is Molly. She's been hanging. She's usually the one that hangs with me in my craft room. Yeah? And she's telling me it's dinner time because they usually do eat around between 4 and 5, and it's 4:30. And she's like, okay, Mom, I'm getting tired of waiting. When are you going to feed me? I'm surprised her sister, because she's the bossy one, the older one that's 12, Maya. I'm surprised she didn't come in here and start talking and growling at me yet. Right? So this is Miss Molly. And I always say, good golly, Miss Molly. Yeah. She could be a troublemaker. Yes, you can. Okay, I'm going to put you down. Oh, hold on. Let me put you down. Don't jump. You get hurt. So I'm working on Santa's Village, and this is how far I got. So this one is the post office. So these right here are little envelopes that are hanging on a line with these little clips, but I'm going to wait to do that long line of across and when the piece is completely done. Just like I have the buttons for each one of these pieces, but I'm not going to put the buttons and beads on here until it's completely finished. Because I do use a Q-snap usually for this one. If I use a hoop or a Q-snap, I don't want to crush the beads or the buttons, have them in my way, or my long stitches get all messed up. So I do have all 12. There's 12 altogether. There's going to be 4 rows, 3 rows of 4. And I have them all here, all in this bag, and I have all the buttons. And I'm going to do beads, I think, for like the eyes and things instead of the French knots. I do have some little small black beads I can use. I have 3 more left. No, yeah, 3 more left and we're done. We're almost at the bottom of the pile here. This one is one I'd like to see finished this year. This one I started back in February of 2022. So this one is 3 years old. I started on February 17th of 2022. I'm doing it on a piece of ice blue Aida, 16 count Aida. And this one is by Brenda Keys, the sampler company. This one's called the Plymouth Sampler. A lot of stitching in here. It's a lot of solid stitching. But I'm getting there because the border is completely solidly stitched. And I pull this one up. Sometimes this is my TV stitching. Because once I get, you know, like I get the alphabet a little ways, and then I just fill it in. Get the alphabet down here a little ways and fill it in. And this last time I was doing that. I think I only had this top one filled into here. So I came across and I did all of that. I did this willow tree back here. And I think I did a little bit more down in here filling in. So that's how far I am on the Plymouth Sampler. And I have a thread hanging. Yeah, because I was filling in that tan color there. Oops. Let me see if we can see the whole thing. I love this one. It's beautiful. I love it. I love all of my pieces, actually. But this one, I thought it's time for this one to get started. I mean, finished. So, I don't stitch a whole lot on Aida anymore, but I do have a few pieces that are on Aida that I'd like to get finished. I have a Perfect World that I started a few years ago on Aida. That's one that I kind of would like to see done this year too, also. So we'll see. These last 2 are winter Christmassy ones. So this one is by Tiny Modernist, and this one is the Jolly Christmas Bell Pull. I'm stitching this one on a piece of 28 count Lugana in the color Mushroom because I had the tag on the back of my leaflet from the fabric. I came in and I had already had the hat done and some of this border, and I think a little bit of this signed Noel started. So I pulled this up and I was working on it for a little while, and I got folded in half. This is a long skinny piece of fabric because this is going to be a long skinny piece. So I came in and I, you know, there's going to be almost looks like a peppermint pole, and I did the Noel, I believe, and I brought down some of the border. So I've been working my way down on this one. And I think this one's just DMC. I think I'm using the called for DMC on this one. And last but not least, I am sure it's not least. If I was working on it, it's because I like it. I have to pick all that stuff up off the floor. Somebody want to come get all that off the floor for me? Oh, yes. This was a new start. And I love Teresa Koget's stuff. Let me see if I can figure out what I'm doing here. So I got her Hello Santa book. And then I was like, I love all of these Santas. I really love this one on the front. He may be my next one, but he's not the one I started with. A lot of people are stitching him and he's gorgeous. But I decided I wanted to do, which one? Let me see if I can find not the chart, but the picture. The Right Jolly Old Elf. This one right here. So when I decided on him, I had to pick out a piece of fabric and pull all of the colors. I think, yeah, they're pretty much DMC. I have a chart here. Yeah, they're all DMCs because I copied that, so I'm going to have to keep flipping around in the book to see what my next color was as I was stitching on this. So I'm using all of the DMCs. And they're long. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, this is still DMC. For some reason, that's shorter. Because I double over. I'm stitching on probably a 32 count over with 2 threads. That's something I didn't tell you guys. Every single thing I showed you today is with 2 threads. 2 over 2. Unless it's on 8 and then it's 2 over 1. This one, it looks like it's a Vintage Country Mocha that I'm stitching this one on. 32 count Vintage Country Mocha. And, oh no, is it? This might be Sand Lugana. Sand by Picture This Plus. And that's how far I got. Look at him. Oh, that star there goes on his pack that's on his back. That's part of the design in his pack. But that's my Santa. I mean, yeah. Let me see. I'm pretty sure this is Vintage Country Mocha, but now I'm second guessing myself, thinking that maybe it's Sand by Picture This Plus. No, I think it's Doubloon. That's what it is. Now I remember. I picked Doubloon by Picture This Plus. 28 count Lugana in the picture Doubloon. That's what this is. I remember now. Isn't he gorgeous? Her Santas are phenomenal. Love them. Love them, love them, love them. So that was the last whip of the things that I've been working on the last couple of months. Like I said, I can stitch. I can sit, I can put a heating pad on my back, and I can sit and stitch. But I'm also trying to move also and do my physical therapy, go for a walk when I can, do some yoga stretches. I'm trying to do all of that. Let's see if I can get this. Like I said, it's better. It's way better. Way better. Having problems sitting here, but it's way better than it's been. Like I said, there were times I couldn't stand long enough to cook dinner, you know, or hardly get up and down the stairs to get down here to my craft room. So the only other thing I have is I do have something that's on my radar that I want to start in March. I showed you the little bunny that I want as from Crochet Go-Go as my small start. But I think I'm going to start this one because I have the Summer Quaker going. But I want to do this Spring Quaker by Leela's Studio. It looks like this. I really want to start on this one. This one's really been calling to me. So I may start this one next month because next month starts spring. I don't know if I'll wait till the first day of spring or just start it sometime in March. I already have all of the overdyes. I ordered those. I got those in. I have to pull. There are 7 DMC colors in this also, and I'm going to stitch it on this 32 count piece of linen called Shrekie's Tan by Needle Bling Designs. I picked this up at Liberty Hill Needleworks when I was in Williamsburg with my mom a few weeks ago. So, and it's I think there was another piece I was stitching on this Shrekie's tan too. So I cut a big enough piece for it to fit on. And can't wait to get this going, because I think it's going to be beautiful. So that was the only other thing I had to show you guys, because I'm not absolutely sure what I'm going to work on. I want to work on Dwelling Place by Teresa Kogut as a plan. I didn't want to show you this time because I just started this last night, or yeah, it was last night, and I only got a few stitches in. But last year in February for leap year, I started a leap year start, and it was the Little Birds by Blackbird Designs, and it is a huge piece. And I put it on my piece of fabric, and I started, and I got probably at least a third of the whole top, you know, the alphabet and the border and everything done on it. And I pulled it up, and I thought, this is when I want to get the border in. And so I unfolded my piece of fabric, and I was looking at it, and I was like, why did I start it so far down on my piece of fabric? Am I going to have enough room at the bottom? Because I started at the top. So I unfolded it, and I was looking at it, and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't think it's going to fit. And I measured, and sure enough, I recalculated the stitch count by how many, I think I'm doing it on a 32 count. So I divided it by 16 because I'm doing over 2. And I was like, it's not going to fit. It's going to have this much margin at the bottom. And I don't want to do that because it is a large piece, and I'm going to want to have it framed eventually. And I don't want to take it to a framer and they have that much to work with at the bottom and this much at the top. I was like, I cannot believe I did that. But when I looked on the directions, actually I have it over there. I could show it to you real quick. It said for 36 count, that the dimensions were going to be something like 22 by 19. So I think, dummy me, when I started it, I think I just went with those dimensions, forgetting I'm stitching it on 32 count, not 36 count. So I had like a 4-inch margin at the top, and I'm going to have that much at the bottom. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to pick out a whole other piece of, because I said, I am not frogging all of that. I will just save the rest of this piece of fabric for other things. I could get another pattern or 2 on it, and restarted on a different piece of fabric. So then I looked in my fabric stash, and I found something that's going to work. I think I really like the colors on it. It's gonna be a piece of 32 count Lugana by Those Missing Stitches and the Poetic Pony Boy. It's a very pretty color. I'll have to show it to you later. I've got it in my stand. I got this much of the border stitching. I said, I am going to do the whole bones of the border before I do anything else to make sure that this is definitely going to fit on here. But let me show you what I'm restarting. So I am going to work on that this month because I'm working on it right now. Just give me a second. I will walk over to my stitchy spot over here in the corner. And I'm so mad at myself. I have nobody to blame but myself. Nobody told me, hey, Vicki, you got plenty of margin. Start it over here. No, I did it to myself. So, beautiful piece of light mocha 32 count Belfast linen that I was stitching it on. Loved it. And I got this far. But look at how much I left for myself. And then I started thinking, this is a really big piece, and that's only the top band of that. And where am I going to have enough room? I knew I had enough going across because I have plenty over here. But I thought up and down, I don't know, Vicki. So I recalculated, and like I said, it's going to go all the way down to here, somewhere in here. But yet I have all of this up here. And I thought I could unpick all of that and restart it. But I was so mad at myself. So I can save all of the rest of this fabric for something else. And just restart it. So when I check in with you guys next time, I'll be able to show you my progress on my restart of Little Birds by Blackbird Designs. Because that's something else I'm going to work on also. I'm just so mad at myself. So mad. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know? you know, just to go show everybody makes mistakes on their stuff. God knows I do. I am definitely not perfect in any shape or form in any way. I'm not the end all be all and all the information of cross stitch, and I'm not the most perfect stitcher. Can't say I don't ever make mistakes. I don't, just etc. etc. What is this over here? What is this? Oh, this is my stuff to start that Quaker, spring Quaker. I think that's it. So we're an hour and a half-ish into this Flosstube, and I need to go feed the dogs before they cause a mutiny and, I don't know, start destroying the house or doing something that they shouldn't be. They're good dogs. They don't do that. I'm teasing. So I could show you real quick my book of days. I was watching Dina the Nightly Stitcher, Dina the Nightly Stitcher. And she was showing how she got these stars to put in her book to show, you know, when she started things and when she finished things. So when you get a finish, like down here is finished. I finished Maggie May on February 19th. So I just finished Maggie May the other day. And here, no stitching. So I only had one day so far in the month of February that I did no stitching. I actually was trying to catch up on a knitting class that I'm taking. I had some knitting I needed to do. So I actually knitted all day that day instead of stitched on my time I had to do fun stuff to play. And in January, I stitched every day except for the 12th of January. I don't know what happened on that day. I must have been busy. But I did absolutely no stitching. And this is where I finished the Home Sweet Home Valentine piece by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And then these were my few starts. I showed you. Oh, I didn't show you that one. Oh, I'll have to show it to you next time. Right Jolly Old Elf, Real Comfort, and Spelling Lessons. I started in January. And I started Maggie May, which I finished her Happy Hearts by Birds of a Feather. And I restarted Little Birds just last night, late last night. I got it out. I said, I think I'm going to do the border on that one. I want to get working on that one because because that is a leap day. I wanted to have it done by next leap day. Now I only have 3 years to get it done because I had to restart it. So now I don't have 4 years. And now I have this much stitched on it. Oh, well. And that's it. I think that's it. That's everything. That's all she wrote. Yep, my dogs are going to get all mad now. Because now it definitely is almost 5 o'clock. Because they're like, okay, 4 o'clock. Okay, we're waiting. We'll wait patiently. 4:30. Yeah, okay. She still hasn't gotten up to do anything. She hasn't worked her way to the kitchen yet. Getting concerned. And by about 5 o'clock, and it's about 3 minutes to 5, the barking is going to start. Are you hungry, baby? So I need to tell you guys goodbye. And I hope you guys get lots of stitching. And I plan on trying to be back. But, you know, best laid plans. Like probably around the end of March. So I can give you a March recap. The couple of things, like I said, what I kind of maybe can get done on Little Birds. These couple of things I wanted to start. Maybe get a finish on the Little Bunny. We'll see. Start and finish that one. We'll see. We'll see. I don't get bent if I don't finish it. If I do, great. If I don't, then it'll get finished for next Easter, spring. So I wish you guys a lot of happy stitching, health, love, wellness, and lots of good times. And I hope wherever you are in the world that things are treating you well. Until next time, happy stitching, everybody. Bye-bye.